early childhood program began in 1970. The government of Jamaica endorsed and included the new dimension to the successful Bernard Vanderleer Foundation project that was established in 1965 and completed in 1975. The Bernard Vanderleer collaborated with the University of the West Indies in 1966 and began a project to improve the quality of early childhood education in the region. The Early Childhood Education Project was directed by the late Dudley Grant of the University of the West Indies Faculty of Education, with the intentions to expand and develop the fledgling basic school system in Jamaica. This project was a success of national, regional, and international significance. In 1972, the Jamaican government acknowledged the model and expanded it nationally to create the present basic school system.
Childhood education in Jamaica has evolved widely, as from 1938, when teachers were put to watch children without proper training being enforced, to now many steps and strategic plans have been put into the system to ensure the children benefit fully from preschool. Teachers of the 21st century are more equipped and given a curriculum to follow as a guide for the year group being taught. In 1938, Reverend Henry Ward served as a United Church minister in Jamaica. Seeing the need for childcare for working mothers, he established the first play center that served children under the age of 6 years old. Parents did not appreciate the term play center, so it was changed to basic school. Reverend Ward began the first basic school in Jamaica during the 1940s. In 1942, Jamaica began its support for the importance of early childhood education and development as the demand for childcare increased throughout the country. The employment of teachers in the school meant that they were not trained or given a curriculum to follow to ensure the children were holistically developed. The main goals for early childhood development programs should be to improve young children's capacity to develop and learn. A child who is ready for school has a combination of positive characteristics such as can engage in conversation with peers and adults, is good at problem solving, tackles new challenges with an eager attitude, has good language skills and communicates well, and follows instructions. The goal of transforming the entire education system for approximately 10 to 15 years. Some of the recommendations to be pursued within the short term to long term were construction of new schools, the upgrading of all existing schools to world-class standards, upgrading of curriculum, teaching and learning support system, exposing school boards and principals to new concepts of governance with an emphasis on leadership and administration. Efforts to ensure...
Excuse me, Auntie. I'm going to draw some pretty flowers.
That's great, sweetie. Let's see.
Okay.
It would have been observations like these that led Vygotsky into developing his theory of social interaction. Vygotsky observed his children during their developmental stages and created this theory. It is important that children get the best possible start of life. Early childhood experiences can either affect them positively or negatively. Upon the realization that children are valuable investments that shape structure and security of our future, it was inherent to develop outcomes to seek measures that enhance these developmental features. In the 1970s to 1980s, there was a growing need to facilitate quality education in the early childhood sector. Pigot's theory became popular and gained recognition as a blueprint to understanding developmental thinking. The theory posits that development precedes learning and is shaped based upon the acquisition of new knowledge known as assimilation to the building of information based upon previous knowledge, which is called accommodation, which is then deposited into a child's schema, that is the total experiences. This was reported in Condola. It is then evident that both theories are pivotal to what we understand of cognitive development. Through both philosophers, We are now aware that children learn and gain complexity of knowledge incrementally. Recognizing and emphasizing the importance of the impacts of nature and nurture in the acquisition of knowledge and development proves that cognitive skill sets are sequential in order for successful progression. Until then, emphasis of schools were primarily geared towards the teaching of reading and writing and some basic crafts. A lack of consistency in teaching methods resulted in the general evidence depicting a less successful transfer of knowledge. It was then deposited the culture of education being limited to reading and writing and created problems between teacher, student, and the environment. Pigot's theory circled the concepts of children being an active participant in experimentation. Yes, sweetie?
Can I go? I'll be back.
Sure, sweetie. Another popular theory around the time stemmed from Vygotsky's social interaction. Vygotsky differed from Piaget in that he believed social learning preceded development and maintained that communication skills is adapted and constructed from birth, which proceeds into positive thinking outcomes. He then describes his findings as the zone of proximal development. These two philosophies provide perspectives on how thinking is developed, and according to UNICEF 2013, early childhood experiences are crucial to brain development as brain architecture is shaped by positive and negative experiences. Inadvertently, this affects children's quality of life. Though both philosophers, we are now aware that
It is said, the main objective of early childhood education is to bridge the gap between home, school, and the community. Early childhood education comprises both formal and informal. This form of education is fundamental to the development of a child significantly all through adult life. Having an early childhood center benefits all stakeholders. The ripple effect, from improved standard of education, healthcare for both students and educators, environmental standards both inside and outside of centers and surrounding areas. The establishment of an early childhood center in the community will have significant benefits to parents, as this gives parents a chance to wage a balance between being efficacious in their career as well as upholding family responsibilities, all adding to poverty reduction, something that every parent wishes to attain. Young parents will receive vital information on what is conducive to proper child development, supporting learning at every level. It also gives parents a chance to be a part of their child's academic life, inside and outside of the home. An early childhood center that follows all standards and guidelines of early childhood education can create a sustainable and robust economy, as our community needs skilled and productive workforce, especially in early childhood education.
previously we would have heard about Jamaica's history of early childhood care and education. Now let's take it down the islands and hear what Trinidad has in store. In the year 1990, the government of Trinidad and Tobago became a signatory to the UNESCO's document that identified education as a critical role to the development of a country's human capital. The government decided that there was need to transform and reshape the education system, thus embarked on a journey for education for all in 2000. The National Model for Education in Trinidad and Tobago 2007 mentions that the early childhood care education division was incorporated into these documents as an integral part of the education system. This initiative led to the expansion and improvement of early childhood care and education programs, especially for the at-risk and underprivileged children throughout the country. Not only did the ministry make changes to its curriculum, but it also made changes to its infrastructure. As reported by the Educational Facilities Company Limited, Within the period of 2006 to present, the Ministry of Education, through the Educational Facilities Company Limited, has built and outfitted over 85 early childhood centers, with 59 more being under construction. It further divided the country into 8 districts, 53 ECCD centers, 846 centers in Trinidad, and 16 being either government or government assisted. Staff training continued to be of importance to the government, and as such, they partnered with tertiary institutions to accommodate and facilitate learning. They also implemented a program we know as GATE, Government Assistance for Tuition Expenses, which offers Trinidad and Tobago nationals free or partial funding for these programs. These programs, you can now attain a certificate, an associate degree, a master's, or even a PhD, where previously in the past, these programs would have been quite expensive. It is now accessible for everyone.